It's Monday, August 4th, and I'm standing on the shores of Lake Temagami. I'm up here for 5 days, 4 nights with my buddy Mike, and we are doing the Wakamika Loop, which has us heading across Lake Temagami into Diamond Lake, and from there we head south through Wakamika, and then into Wakamika, and then back into Temagami proper. So it's around 12:15 on the Monday. We've got stormy clouds ahead, and we had rain this morning. Today's the only day on our trip that seems to have any rain in the forecast, and since we've already felt a bit, we're going to hop on the boat, make our way across to the first portage, Napoleon's Portage, a 780 that leads us into another section of Lake Temagami, before eventually making our way across the Sharp Rock Portage into Diamond. 12:35 here, and we've just launched onto Lake Temagami. We're making our way across to the first portage, the Napoleon Portage. We've got overcast conditions with glassy water, just a bit of breeze, putting a tiny bit of a ripple, but besides that, it's a great day for paddling with no direct sun and kind of a softbox feeling.
Looks like quite a steep start to this one. And this is a view of Temagami on the other side of Napoleon.
Making my way back for the second carry, and this portage wasn't difficult at all. The takeout's very steep, kind of a rock wall when you pull up. But after that first, 20, 30 meters is done, the rest of it's just your usual rocky, undulating portage that you usually get at Temagami. But all I've got is the canoe to pick up. Mike's already gone back for his load, so once I get the canoe, we'll be off. We've just put in on the other side of the Napoleon Portage. Sandy Bay, shallow. But we're making our way just across to a small inlet leading into the next section of Lake Temagami, which will lead us to the Sharp Rock Portage over to Diamond. We're making our way upwards through the bay from Sharp Rock Inlet. And this bay narrows like a funnel until you reach the portage itself, which is about 250 meters in the distance. And it looks like we might have a dock, and I guess it crosses Red Squirrel Road. All right, well, there's the dock ahead, and I guess it's just straight ahead into Diamond. Okay, you set? Let's do it. Mike and I have made our way into Diamond Lake from Lake Temagami via the Sharp Rock Portage. And as you can guess, it was full of sharp rocks, but it wasn't long, just about 70 meters. It was no trouble at all. Now we're about to head out onto a windy Diamond Lake and try to find our site for the night. We've made our way onto Diamond, and the wind that was blowing at us on the portage has all but disappeared, and we're paddling across a very glassy lake right now. The plan is to set up shop at one of the first 4 campsites at the east end of the lake. We'll shop around and see what works for us, and then we're going to settle in for the night and call that a day.
Oh, this one looks vacant.
Let's do it.
We've arrived at our Diamond Lake campsite, and it took a while to get here. After we put in, we thought it would be a fairly short and easy paddle to available campsites because it is the Monday of the holiday long weekend. We expected people would be on the way out. But the lake was still very busy and a lot of the sites were occupied. In fact, they were all occupied up until the site that we are at now was found by us very late in the day, around 5:30. But we've been at the site for about an hour and we've got stuff set up. Bug shelter behind me. We've got the tent set up over here and Mike's got some water purifying. And since we're coming up around 6:30 now, we should be thinking about dinner. But I think we're both going to sit down and put our feet up and get hydrated, maybe have a little snack before we get started on that, because it's been a long day with the drive and the paddle on in here. But we're happy to be here despite the fact the lake is quite busy. It's a beautiful lake. It's my first time here, so it's a good feeling. This tastes flavorful, but vacant all at the same time.
I know. They're good in a pinch.
Well, that's going to be a wrap for day one, and what a day it was. Starting off with a 7-hour drive from Toronto just to get to the put-in, and after that about a 4.5-hour paddle in a canoe just to get to our campsite. But Mike and I got here with lots of time to spare, lots of daylight left, and we had a chance to chill out, take in the sights, the sounds, and relax a bit before getting around to business and setting up camp, setting up the tent, making dinner, and eventually making a campfire behind us to round out the evening. But the hour is getting late, and we'd like to get an early start tomorrow, so I think I'm going to sign off now. But thanks so much for coming along on day one, and we hope to see you on day two. Good morning on day two, around 6 a.m. now, and I got up at about 5:15 or so. Got some coffee going, putted around camp, checked out the mist across the lake. Now Mike's up, and we're starting on breakfast, which is the regular mixed fruit with oatmeal. Then the plan is to collapse camp, work on coffee number 2, hop on the boat and make our way west across Diamond Lake. And then today later into Wakamika, and then Wakamika, where we plan on staying for the night. It's a nice morning this morning, a few bugs out, not too bad. And it looks like this mist is going to burn off and hopefully reveal a blue, sunny sky for the rest of the day. Okay, are you ready for some coffee?
I was born ready, Trev.
Coming up. Oh, that's a good coffee. Oh.
Think we good, yeah?
I think so. We're continuing to make our way down Diamond Lake, and the waters are still calm, and the lake is narrowed in this section, showing a massive crowned island just ahead of us, almost like a party hat standing up in the water. A couple of smaller adjacent islands. Birds are active in the forest, and the sun is at my back. So basically a perfect morning. We've made our way across the length of Diamond, and now we're at the western part of it where it narrows. We're paddling through a narrow section now that's going to take us to the portage that leads to Lane Lake. Wow, look at these rocks. These are crazy. My goodness. It's like someone took a bite out of it.
Just peeled off.
There's another portage sign over there. Do you see it? Straight ahead on the tree. Back the end in here if it's possible. Push your front end out. Portage into Lane is all done. Wasn't too difficult, but very technical. Lots of tight spots and ups and downs and chances to sprain your ankle, but we did okay, and we're about to head across this lake and make our way into, I believe, Pencil Lake, via a 400-meter portage. Nice work.
Thank you.
Here we are at the Pencil Lake Put-In. Did you take the road or did you go in the woods like we did?
The road.
Oh, you did. Good for you.
Yeah. Is that a better path?
Oh, much better path. I mean, they eventually hook up, but it's a trick.
I thought you guys would be miles gone.
Well, we're not in a hurry. That's the best part of being out in the land, taking it in. And
Yeah. Are you with the park? Is that why you...
no, we're just a couple of guys out doing a loop. There's supposed to be 6 of us, but as it turns out, 4 of our friends are losers. And here we are.
Oh, that's because they endured the last canoe trip you took them on and they thought...
Do you know what? You're not far off. Look at this guy. He knows exactly. Yes, see, it's the hat people stare you with the park. It's my Trillium hat. I'm going to start giving instructions to people. Hi, we're going to need you to vacate this campsite. And we have made our way into Pencil Lake. And that portage was not difficult. A road for part of it, and then a downward slope leading us right to where we are now. So that's the end of portaging for the day, and we are heading into Wakamika Lake, and then we'll see what happens from there. Let's pull through the Narrows first and see if we can stop on the other side, because there's a campsite on both sides. That's quite the view opening up. Okay. Wow, this is some beach. This is very tempting to stay here.
It's definitely worthy of a stop.
Yeah, lunch anyways.
It's good.
We've launched into Wakamika now from the beautiful beach sites that we took a pit stop at the north end. And we're heading south just along the east shore, making our way into the Wakamika River that will lead us into Wakamika Lake, which is our destination for tonight. We're just about to enter the Wakamika River, and my goodness, it's hardly as wide as the canoe to start with. We'll see how it ends up. But we're across Wakamika now. We're making our way into Wakamika via this creek. Tight. Nice. Beaver Dam 1. There are a lot of S-turns in this river. In fact, I'm having flashbacks to Restool right now. We've just pulled over mid-creek to get ourselves some water, and this creek is getting tighter and tighter. Lots of deadfall, lots of obstructions, and it'd be challenging to paddle as a solo paddler because the S-turns are so tight. And it's really helpful to have someone in the bow drawing to make those turns more of a drift than a hard turn. Anyway, we're probably half an hour in. I don't know how far we have to go, but there are no bugs and it's not too hot. So if this takes all day, that's just fine by me. Oh, that is one cool tree. Hold on, stop everything. We're about halfway to Wakamika, and I know that because the Wakamika River has a bulge in the middle, something like a small lake or a large pond, and we just traversed that. We're heading back into a weedy narrows for the remainder of the river trip, which will take us into Wakamika proper. Looks like there's a bit of a swarming going on here. I've got all these blue dragonflies that are suddenly paying me an awful lot of attention. Just ahead, it looks like we have the remains of an old bridge. We can paddle through, but on each side you can see the foundation for what must have been a bridge. We're well on the other side of what I'll call Wakamika Pond, and I feel like we're getting closer to the lake because we've really got a headwind now. Nothing we can't handle, but there's more than a ripple on the water, and kind of has that open sky feeling, like you might be getting close, but I've had this feeling before only to be sadly disappointed. But I'm pretty sure we're going to be home stretching it pretty soon and then hunting for a campsite somewhere after. This is quite the entrance to Wakamika. First thing you notice is just how high the far shore is. And this is a big lake. And fortunately, we don't have much wind at all to deal with. And we're just heading down to the area of the Fire Ranger Trail, Forest Fire Ranger Trail, something. And hopefully there's one of 2 campsites available there. Probably about 1 kilometer out or so. I love this site. Look at it. We've arrived at our campsite on the eastern shores of Lake Wakamika at Ranger Point. And our campsite is amazing. We're located on a beach that's probably 1,000 feet long, and our site is located just a little bit up from the water on a completely flat area, just carved out of the forest. And this campsite has a really great vibe. What's more is that we've got great swimming waters in front where it seems to taper off to reasonable depth, and I'll be hopping in the water soon. After that, I'm gonna start rehydrating some food for dinner. And then I think we're just gonna chill out, relax, maybe do some reading, set up the chairs and just stare out over this lake for a while until our tummies tell us it's time to eat. So that's the plan for day 2, and I think it's a good plan because today was a hard one. Left the campsite at 8, got here at 4:30, and yeah, we were working the whole time, so nice feeling to finally be here. Well, there's nothing like having a late afternoon coffee. And why not? After our paddle day today, which was about 8 hours, I feel like I deserve a rest, and that's what we've been doing for the past hour. Just sitting in these chairs, staring out at the lake, going for a swim, changing into some new clothes. And next steps will be getting started on dinner, although there's no real rush to do it. It's hard to tear yourself away from all of this. The light keeps changing, and every time you look up, it's a different painting looking back at you. Anyway, I'm gonna finish up this coffee and maybe have another, and then get started on dinner. I'm gonna put on the beef. You okay with that, Mike?
Yes.
Dinner's all done, and we had a feast tonight. We had very generous helpings of Thai beef with rice. And now Mike's gonna work on the dishes, and I'm gonna supervise from my chair, staring out on all of this, which just continues to amaze, even after having stared at it for 2-3 hours since we got here. Anyway, tomorrow the views will disappear as we head back onto Lake Temagami and replaced with Lake Temagami views. It's about 9:15, and for the past half hour or so, Mike and I have been watching this moonrise across the bay. And what a moonrise it is. This is a very bright moon. In fact, so bright, I don't think we're going to see any stars later on tonight. But the sun behind us is also very close to setting, so darkness will be on us before we know it, and we are on the shady side of the sunset. So we've got camp all closed up, the blue barrels stashed, and everything's away, and we've got a couple of chairs set up just overlooking the scene across from us. And we'll stay up not too late tonight, because tomorrow we want to kick off the day with a hike up a fire trail which is located behind the adjacent campsite. So after we get that hike done, then we'll get in our canoes and head south on Wakamika before heading east back into Temagami. So that's the plan for tomorrow, and for tonight, that's a big sign off. Thanks so much for joining me on day 2, and we hope to see you on day 3. Good morning on day 3, just around 5:30 in the morning. Been up for about half an hour or so, and when I first got up, the sounds of this seagull colony across the lake was just deafening. You can't see a damn bird, but you can hear all of them, all 10,000 of them chirping away. Anyway, the plan this morning is to hike the fire trail just down the beach and up the ridge behind us. Access to this trail is obtained through our neighboring campsite, and that campsite is occupied. Now, we did speak to the occupants of the campsite yesterday and asked if it'd be okay if we made our way up the fire trail via the trail beside their campsite, and they said no problem, come by any time. But I don't think they meant 5:30 in the morning, so we're going to wait until we hear movement on the campsite down the beach, and when we do, we'll make our way over and start our hike up the trail. After that, we're going to come back to our campsite, make up some breakfast, and then hop in the boat, head south on Wakamika, before eventually heading east into Lake Temagami later today. We snuck past our sleeping neighbors and was able to find the trailhead for the hike to the fire trail. And we did check with them the day before, and they said it'd be no problem if we came by. So if they heard us, I'm pretty sure they weren't going to be startled. And the trail follows the lake for the first 100 meters or so, and then it's a slow incline upwards. The hike on the way to the lookout has been very beautiful, sprinkled with erratics, mosses, all kinds of fallen trees and freaky looking stumps, and even some old debris from either campers or mining days. The slow climb continues.
Is this where the hike ends? I think so.
Well, we made it to the top, and I thought there was going to be a lookout of some kind, but it's really just forest everywhere, with this ranger cabin behind me, rotting in the woods. Anyway, still worth the hike just to check out the space and think about the time somebody must have spent in that cabin doing something ranger-like. And I guess I shouldn't be surprised because the campsite is on Ranger Point, so when you put all that together, it all adds up. But still, unfortunate there's no view, but I think we'll get that tomorrow or the day after when we visit Devil's Mountain. All right, we're going to head back downhill, start on breakfast. Getting back down at lake level right now, and we're about to pass through our neighbor's campsite, so if they're still sleeping, we'll be very quiet, and if they're awake, we'll say hello. But we should be back at our campsite in the next, 5 or 10 minutes. Finish up the coffee and get started on breakfast. Just getting ready to set off now, south on Wakamika, and we're certainly not setting any records this morning. 10 to 12, yeah, 10 to 12, that's the time. But that's okay, because we got a hike in this morning up to the ranger cabin, and then came back and had a leisurely breakfast of bacon and eggs. So nice. And in fact, that was supposed to be for yesterday, but yours truly forgot that we brought it, and then Mike, with the cooler, remembered we had it, and so we fried it up today. This morning was glassily calm all day until about 15 minutes ago. And now we've got a breezy headwind, but nothing we can't handle. And in fact, it will be a welcome addition to the day because it is hot. It is a very hot, sunny day under wildfire skies. And yeah, I wouldn't mind a bit of a breeze because I think it's going to be a hot paddle down lake. Well, we've had to say goodbye to our incredible campsite because we got to move on. And now we're heading south on Wakamika. We've got about 4 kilometers to go until we get to our portage into Wakamika Inlet. Look at that, Mike. Just look at the smoky distance down there. Very cool. Very hazy. The wind has definitely come up, but that's okay because we are very close to our portage takeout. Probably 200-300 meters in the distance along this rocky shoreline. I don't quite see it yet, but I know it's here. We're at the portage now, and there are actually 2 trails you can take, but I think they end up meeting at some point. I hope they do anyway. We're going to take the one that seems to be a little more dominant of the 2 and hope that serves us well. Okay, 870 meters, and then we're into Wakamika Inlet. All right, here we go. This portage could not be easier. It's long, but you're looking at it. It's basically a road or an ATV trail or a footpath on steroids because it is about as level can be. And as far as portages go, it's been the easiest one of the trip. First carry complete. Brought the orange bag in the pelican case, and Mike brought over the canoe. Next steps are to head back at the Blue Barrel and Mike's pack, and we'll be launching here onto a very weedy Wakamika Inlet. And if you get tired on the portage, there's a stone bench for you. On my second carry now, this is the one with the Blue Barrel and the paddles. Mike took the canoe across on the first go, and now he's just taking his pack and his cooler. Anyway, it's nice to have the hard stuff done in the first carry. Oh. How was it, Mike?
It was good.
Yeah, good job.
Sore knee, sore back, but good.
Just launched into Wakamika Inlet via the 870 meter portage. And it was quite a rocky put-in. And once we got beyond that, it was a very swampy paddle. First couple of bays are choked with lily pads and all kinds of reeds. But I expect this lake to open up into a wider body of water before narrowing in parts and then taking us to the 570 meter portage into Lake Temagami, about 7 kilometers down lake. Got a raven. Yeah, it looks like We're about 2/3 of the way to our destination, the portage into Temagami. And this lake has gone from being sort of a narrow, almost river-esque paddle into a kind of a corridory type paddle into a full-blown lake type paddle. In fact, I think I see some fish camps and the odd dock along the shore. Just finished crossing the intersection of Wakamika Inlet with what I'll call the southeast arm of Wakamika Inlet. And the wind's coming from the southeast today, so it's really blowing up that inlet portion. And crossing it, we really felt the power. But now we're entering a creek, and we'll be shielded from the wind by the forest to our right. We've got probably a kilometer along this creek section until we make it to the portage into Temagami. Mike, I think that's our portage ahead there on the right. I think I see flagging tape. Thank you, sir.
Not actually so bad.
Making the first trip here with pelican case dangling around my neck and the orange pack on back. Mike's ahead with the blue barrel on this one. He tweaked his back, so he's been mixing things up with the Canoe and the blue barrel, trying to see which one works best. And this 570 is a walk in the park. Looks like we're heading down now, hopefully making our way to the lake. I can hear the wind, but I can't see any water yet. Oh, I see it. I see the lake. Oh, that's great. Hello, Lake Temagami. Whew. Well, that is a boggy patch ahead. We have just launched into Lake Temagami, and we've got about a 3-kilometer paddle until our hopeful campsite, because there are no reservations. And this campsite's located just across the bay from Devil's Mountain. And that hike is on our list to do tomorrow, so we want to see if we can stage near it and just paddle our way over. So we're about 3 kilometers out from where we hope to camp. And if that fails, then we've probably got around 5 or 6 kilometers to go until we find the next set of sites that we can choose from. 4:30, so we're going to get paddling and hopefully get the campsite of our choice. We just pulled into the campsite at Granny Bay, and it's occupied. So we're going to have to paddle a little more. We're going to head northeast towards Devil's Mountain. There's a cluster of campsites around there, and hopefully one of them will be available for us. We made the lake crossing at the junction from Point at Granny Bay. Yeah, from the point at Granny Bay straight across to basically Camp Wakamika, and then headed north from there on the east shore. And I imagine that junction gets incredibly windy and difficult weather, but today was not such a day. And now we're staring north into Ferguson Bay, and we'll be looking for campsites, the southeast end of it, so we can stage there tomorrow for our hike to Devil's Mountain. All right, let's see if this site's gonna do the trick. I like that it's right at the bottom of the Devil's Hike Trail.
Yeah.
Mike has just scoped out the site and says it's a keeper. What's that? Oh, a lot of garbage, but anyway, he says there's flat tent pad and a spot for the bug shelter and a spot to dry out some clothing. So looks like we're going to call it and stay here tonight. This site also has the benefit of being at the base of the hiking trail to Devil's Mountain, and that was something on our list to do tomorrow. So now we can just wake up and do it, which is great news. Okay, so we're unloading? All right. We're staying here.
Yeah. I figure I'll go from here to here.
Yeah.
And I'll put my cot over this thing.
Not a bad little site. We've got some nice vista views and a couple of flat spots for tents. They're not terrifically flat, but flat enough. Oh, this is lovely. What a beautiful view out here.
No nap. If I go down, I ain't getting up until morning.
It's around 6:30 now, and we arrived at the campsite about half an hour ago, which makes our travel day about 6 hours. And wasn't the longest day I've done, but it was one of the sweatiest, hottest days I've done. And on top of that, we had a couple of portages along the way and a hike earlier this morning. So Mike and I are both feeling it. We're looking forward to putting our feet up. But first things first, we're going to hop in the lake for a swim. Now that I got the bug shelter set up and Mike's got the tent set up, there's not too much else to do except think about dinner. But that won't happen until after we've had a chance to cool off. So it's into the water for the both of us, and then we'll start strategizing on what dinner looks like. 8:30 now, and we're all settled in at the site. We got the clothesline up, the bug shelter, the tent, food barrels dumped all over the ground. I mean, it's just like home. We also went for a swim. It wasn't that needed. The water here is just so cool and refreshing, and a day of portaging and sweating under this wildfire hot box of a sunny day was just, it was a lot. So it's nice to feel human again and all dried out with fresh tops and bottoms and all the rest. But the rest of the evening needs to start looking like dinner because it's 8:30 and the sun has just disappeared behind the trees across the lake, and we've still got quite a bit of brightness, but really no more daylight to speak of. So Mike's back there getting the KD fired up, and once that's ready, we'll probably hop in the bug shelter and polish that off. Anyway, we're gonna hit the hay early tonight because we are camped at the trailhead for the hike to Devil's Mountain, and that's first on the list tomorrow. So we're gonna get up early, hike the mountain, come back down, and then get started on breakfast and the like. But that's gonna be it for today, and just wanted to thank you so much for joining me on day 3, and we hope to see you on day 4. Good morning on day 4. Just a little after 5:30 right now, and the loons and the red squirrels are up, but not much else. A couple of birds flittering along the lakeshore here. Anyway, the plan today is to hike Devil's Mountain, which is located just behind our campsite. And first order of business, of course, is a couple of coffees. We've got lots of time today. It's not even 6 o'clock yet, and we're not planning on starting the hike till around 7. And then after that, we'll be coming back, packing up, and I think making our way back to the access, because we've only got 8.5 kilometers to go. And, well, that's only a couple hours of paddling. So that's the plan for today. I think I hear Mike stirring in the background, so get some coffee on for him and see where the day goes. It is hiking time, and we're making our way up the path just beyond our tent. And yeah, it's a steep one. Get technical? It's a bit of a scramble now. Mike just did this portion, and yeah, it's hands and feet, hands and feet. Oh. Probably about halfway to the top now, and it's straight up. I mean, there's lots of footholds, and it's not scary or anything, but you, at times, need all 4 hands to kind of clamber your way up. And I can see ahead, there's a huge rock wall, so I guess there's a path that goes around it. But yeah, onwards and upwards. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, how are we getting down?
Well, we've come this far.
Oh.
What do you think? There's a line, there's gotta be.
You want to keep going?
Well, I want to check it out now. I feel like we're right there.
Yeah, I hear you.
But fuck me, this climb down is going to take a long time.
Well, get climbing. Mike and I have made it to the summit of Devil's Rock, and it didn't take very long, maybe 15 or 20 minutes or so, but that is a very nerve-wracking climb. You need all limbs to get up, and getting down, I'm sure some of it will be on the glutes. Anyway, the views from Devil's Rock are amazing. Down lake and up lake, there's a lot to see here. We spent about 20 minutes up on top of Devil's Rock here checking out these incredible panoramas. But now it's time to head back down, which means all camera gear has got to go in the backpack because it's going to be a scramble getting back to camp.
If you take your time, it's not so bad.
We are back from our hike to the top of Devil's Rock. And man, that climb, the second part of it is straight up. It's like you're climbing a ladder with questionable rungs. And although there are places for footholds and handholds, I mean, you make one mistake and fall backwards, it's over for you. I mean, it is, for a guy that doesn't like heights, that was very uncomfortable, the second part of that hike. But anyway, we made it, and incredible views at the top, and really glad to have done it. So we're back now, and dare I say, contemplating coffee number 3. And while enjoying coffee number 3, we're going to do the slow pack up, because today we are heading back to the put-in and we're calling it a trip. We got about 8K to go and we're in no hurry to get there. So we're going to just sort of pack up and sip coffee and take in the last gasps of Temagami before we head home. Mike and I have got camp all packed up and we've staged the gear down by the canoe. And we're getting ready to hop in and make our way back to the put-in. But I wanted to recap this trip because it actually didn't turn out the way I expected for a couple of reasons. And the first reason is there was to have been 6 guys on this trip. 4 of them, for various reasons, weren't able to make it in the end. But Mike still made it, which is great because I don't see him very often, and it's been fantastic to spend the last 4 days with him. But the second reason the trip wasn't exactly as expected is because it didn't really jive with my other Temagami experiences, which have lent a much more remote and solitary feeling. And that may have something to do with the fact that they weren't done in August. And these lakes in particular are extremely busy with campers and boaters, and even Diamond Lake, which I thought would be motor-free, had motorboats racing along it. And every lake had dogs, kids, families enjoying themselves. Don't get me wrong, it's great to see people out, but when you come into the wilderness, you're always sort of hoping for that wilderness feeling and, the chance to see wildlife, and I just feel like this was a very busy route. So I'm very glad I did it. Incredible scenes along the way. Mike and I did 2 magnificent hikes, including this one here today, which was a little nerve-wracking. So no regrets for having done it, but would I do it again? Probably not, but still glad to have done it once. Anyway, I'm going to wrap things up here. Thanks so much for coming along on this 5-day canoe loop turned 4-day canoe loop, and we hope to see you in the next one.